Welcome to this Sunday analysis. Today we are going to review the economic calendar and then the pairs that I usually trade, and Nasdaq also because I'm going to trade it next week. And then yeah, that's about it. So let's start with the weekly calendar. I mean the economic calendar for this week. On Monday we have all of this news in London session, which means I'm not going to trade it in terms of any pairs that held Euro USD or GBP. So since I trade USD JPY and gold in London session, I'm gonna trade those pairs still and wait for the setup. But in terms of anything else, no. And then in terms of NQ, which I'm gonna be trading in New York session now, only after 9:45. And that is if price doesn't move that much. So if we get a volatile move that's like too big, I'm gonna not trade and wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a clean day with no news, which means we can trade normally. And then with Wednesday, you also can trade normally, everything. We have CPI at 3 a.m., which means that's a bit, if you're trading London session with GBP pairs, that might be a bit volatile. So if it is too volatile, it's better to step away. But if it's a smaller move, then you can trade normally. But since it's CPI, I guess it's going to be a pretty big move. But still, for USD JPY and gold, I don't think the market will move that much. We'll see how it goes. In terms of 8:30 news events on Thursday, it's unemployment claims and final GDP, which means after these news, we can trade normally the NQ. Okay, and if I was trading the EU and GJ from 8 to 10, like I do when I trade Forex New York session, in this case, we would wait for the news to go away. So after 8:30, we will start looking for a setup. And if price takes out with the news events both drawn liquidity, like both sides of the liquidity, then we are not gonna trade. I mean, we then wouldn't trade. Okay. In terms of Friday, we have 8:30 news event. Only we can trade after that, and then as GBP 3 a.m. retail sales, this shouldn't move the market that much. Okay. And then finally on Saturday we have a daylight saving time shift finally, because now the times are a bit harder for me to trade when we shifted the time, because I was still in school when I had to trade. So yeah, now let's see. Let's start with DXY with the weekly time frame. So we have been going lower downside, and after this trend, so we basically, if we are going to continue this uptrend here, and if you're going to use the OT level, it's soon here. So we might use this weekly fair value gap, which is why it's my target. So I'm expecting this huge weekly fair value gap to be used for price to go to this weekly fair value gap. Okay. We have just took out this weekly sell side, which is why I think price has the potential to go up into this daily fair value gap and then move lower, and not only use this one, also because that's where we have a 50% or the equilibrium of this price range that is above this daily fair value gap, which is why I think price might reach into this one and then continue lower. So we have to be careful here. We are bearish overall, but we can have some movement to the upside in the beginning of the week. And then let's go with EU. Here we have the same, just like the other side. So we have a weekly fair value here that I'm expecting to use, that price uses to push higher to this weekly fair value gap, and then maybe either give a daily break structure to the downside so we can be bearish, or that do not do that and we still push through to this weekly buy side. As of daily time frame, we can use this daily fair value gap and move up, or we can use this daily fair value gap and move up. So either of these two, if you get, like, if price is inside of this, then you get a 1 hour or 4 hour break structure. The best is the 4 hour break structure, then you can start being bullish towards these 4 hour buy side levels that we have here. And yeah, that's for EU. So we are bullish on EU after price reaches into these levels and gives a reaction. And then let's do DJ now. So for DJ on the weekly time frame, I was now we swept out this level right here, we have swept that out, so this was a weekly buy sell level. Now that we swept it, we can definitely continue the downtrend to the downside, but we need a daily break structure for that. So as you can see, we are bullish on the daily time frame, and we kept breaking structure to the upside, and now we broke structure once again, and we retrace back into the daily order block, which means we can anticipate and move up into this daily PPR, and then from there we can get a move down, or if we don't still get a break structure on the daily time frame, we can hunt these relative equal highs above and this weekly buy side. So what I'm expecting now here is for price to continue up, or since it swept out this, and that if it doesn't want to reach this, then I'm expecting a break of structure on the daily time frame. That is what I need in order to be considering shorts. So we are bullish until we get a break structure on the daily time frame. As of, let's do, where is it? USD JPY. So this is the chart that I'm trading in London session only, and that's essentially with Asia low and Asia high getting swept, then targeting the opposite liquidity, because the gold and USD JPY are really like trending markets. As you can see, you don't have a lot of chop, they're trending, you know, so this is why I prefer those for that strategy, because it's easier to find the bias and everything. So here on the weekly time frame, we were bearish, we reached into this weekly fair value gap right here, we swept this liquidity, so from here we got a daily break of structure, which is why I'm bullish. So here it's not a strong one, but it's still a break structure, and we retrace back into the daily order block. So from here I'm expecting price to push higher into these relative equal highs and this high, and eventually I'm expecting price to reach the premium of this area, so basically this level. And then once we are in here, we can maybe use this to this inversion fair value gap to push price even lower and continue the trend on the weekly time frame. So since we are trading the intraday moves, we broke structure to the upside on the daily, that is what we are looking at. Even though the weekly is bullish, I mean bearish, we still have to trade the daily bullish because we are an intraday traders. Okay, so that's for USD JPY, and then we have the gold. So here we are obviously bullish the whole time. You just have to press long. From here, what I'm expecting now is if we are going to retrace, we need to retrace into the weekly fair value gap and weekly order block. So I'm looking to retrace because we have these two levels that are kind of clean, which price can reach and then go higher. So basically external to internal, or we can continue higher off the daily fair value gap. We'll see. Anyway, I'm bullish, so that doesn't change. We can just get a reaction from here, or we don't have to. We'll see what price does, but as long as we keep pressing buy, it's fine. And then lastly, we have NQ or National Hazard, whatever you want to call it. Here we have been bearish on the weekly time frame, and we broke structure to the downside on the weekly time frame. So what I'm expecting is a retracement on the weekly time frame into maybe into this or into this weekly fair value gap, which means that this weekly fair value gap is my first target, since we broke structure to the upside in the daily time frame and we are rejecting these daily order blocks. So I'm going to be bullish for this week until we reach this weekly fair value gap, and then I'm going to wait for a reaction. If we get a daily break structure to the downside, so something like this maybe, if we get a break structure here, then if we have a PDRA somewhere here, I'm switching my bias and starting to target to the downside. But if we don't get that and we continue like pushing through, doing something like this, then I'm expecting price to break through it and retrace back into it, and then go higher into that weekly fair value gap above and into premium of the range move down. So that's it. I'm looking for buys this week in NQ. Unless we get a break structure to the downside on the daily time frame, then I'm switching my bias to bearish. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see what happens through the week, and of course my bias can change at any point of time. We just need a confirmation of the daily time frame. So if we do this now, for example, and break structure below this low, close like strongly below this, or below this. I'm switching my bias bearish, of course. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching, and we'll see. So basically, I'm doing the challenge. I'm gonna demo trade this week with Nasdaq, just to see if I like it better, and because it's a bit easier for me to trade since it's after school, whereas if I'm trading forex, I have to trade in school and everything, so that's kind of tough. And I've heard that price is way cleaner, so I've done a little back testing, and I like the results, so I'm gonna apply it in demo trading, and if I like it, I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna switch completely from forex to NQ. We took this on Friday. I explained it in the last video, and yeah, that's about it. We'll see what happens throughout the rest of the week, and I'll definitely keep you updated. Thank you for watching.